It's July 7th, about 6 o'clock. We're here at the 10 Mile River Shelter. And Stefan is here. I'll tell you more about him in a minute. This is what's really unique about this shelter. Look at the freaking gap they got here. I hope no one walks out in the middle of the night to pee and forgets that there's no floor. That won't be me, but that's the first time I've seen that. That's me over there. That's the hammock setup. A lot better tonight than I did last night. Started raining last night. I wasn't sure it was going to do well, but it held up because it didn't rain much. Up there's the water pump. Not sure if you can see that. That's the water pump up there. There's a bear box close by. And as you can see, it's a nice open view of the field here. Good tree line. And then down there is the river. And that's just where I soaked my feet for the last 25-30 minutes, was down at the river. So I took care of that as well. Anyway, what we did today was 12.8 miles to get here. Water was a concern, but as you can see, there was some magic going on that helped. So I grabbed a bottle of water, and eventually the water started to appear. So, you know, nothing serious going on there. It was a very good day, quite frankly. I mean, 12.8 miles is nothing horrendous, but it got me here to this destination where I wanted to be, and it was a very interesting day. Terrain was not bad, but the best thing was the cloud cover. I mean, the clouds were here all day. I don't know if you can still see, they're still around. The clouds are here almost all day. A little bit of sun in the afternoon, not much. Cooler temperatures today too. Cooler temperatures. Humidity was down. I mean, just 180 degrees from yesterday. So that made a huge difference on hiking today. Crossed some really interesting places, saw some interesting things today. Some farm pastures. Swamps, all sorts of different stuff. And then ended up here. Stefan is gone right now. I told him about the store where I'm going tomorrow, and he said, well, I'm going to go there tonight. I'm going to get something to eat myself, and he needed a pack of smokes. So guess what? I asked him to get me something too. So we are down to 2 protein bars, a Nutri-Grain bar, and a package of Carnation breakfast. That's it. So that country store tomorrow is key. It's about 2 miles from here. And I'm going to hit that thing in the morning and hopefully get enough to last me for the balance of Connecticut, whatever that is. Because the good news is, drum roll please, I'm officially now in Connecticut. So I'm glad to be out of New York. The rocks in New York were the first 36 miles were very, very difficult. People had said they would be difficult. I got warned about it, and they were right. And I'm sure that's the reason that I had the issue with my left knee on day 2, was just trying to stabilize it going down through the rocks. Was continuous, and it just had to lock your knee all the time, and that's what created it. And the good news is the knee pain is subsided, so it's really not there that much anymore. 400 milligrams of vitamin I in the morning, 400 milligrams at lunch, and then 200 in the evening. So things appear to be under control, so that's cool. We start marching through Connecticut tomorrow, and you know, as long as it doesn't storm like crazy tonight, quite frankly, once Stefan gets back with dinner, haha, life could be really, really good. Oh, the last thing is, yeah, I got a new lid. I still got the ball cap. It's in the bottom of the pack, but with all the sun and the hotter temperatures, I've started with this. So I started when I started, I had this, and this is what I'm using. The bad news is when you're going uphill, it makes you sweat like crazy. But put some bug spray on it and stuff, and it keeps the bugs away. So we use it when it's practical and when it makes sense. Not all the time, but enough of the time to help keep my head from getting any more sunburn, and certainly to try to keep enough bugs off of it. Right now the score, I think, is the number of times I hit my head is 981, of which I've only gotten a bug like 77 times. So, you know, less than a 10% success rate on hitting the bugs and the flies. That's the key, the flies on the head. That's the ones I want. The mosquitoes are everywhere. You can't do anything about them. The gnats are the gnats. They are annoying as hell when they fly into your eye. That's not good. But it's the doggone flies that you'll notice when they start biting you. All right, folks, that is it for July 7th. And let's hope Stefan gets back soon with food. Take care, guys. See ya. Bye. That's where I soaked my feet last night. I put down in the text area of the river. Nice setup here, though. The birds and the terns and those other animals down there, they're looking for food as it comes down the river. This is the Housatonic River. As they say, it has good flow. It didn't even rain that much last night. See you guys. Be safe. Okay, so this is July 9th, but this is a report for July 8th. I got in here to the campsite late last night and had just enough time to get set up and, you know, take care of things before it got dark. So yesterday morning, left what was a pretty nice shelter. Stefan headed back to catch a train to go back to Boston, and I headed out. I walked a couple of miles. Yesterday was 15.7 miles on the trail, and then it was an hour. It was a mile round trip to get into Bull's Bridge, where I did a resupply. So early in the morning, I got into Bull's Bridge. It's a convenience store, but it's pretty well stocked as far as hikers go. It had the pleasure of the day. I had a hot cup of coffee with real cream and a sausage and egg biscuit that was warmed up in the microwave. They also had an outlet so I could charge, and I sat outside on the picnic tables with my resupply and got my bag organized. So once I did that, I was back on the trail, and then after lunch, then it turned south, meaning the rain came. So the rain started coming down. It rained for about 3 hours. It rained pretty good. I got officially soaked. You know, that's where the boots and the socks make that mushy sound. And those clothes, they didn't dry overnight, of course. Unless the sun comes out today, I'm going to be hauling one set of wet clothes, but I do have a pair of dry clothes, which I got on now. And the downside was, as I was in the rain, I was coming up to a shelter, and I knew the shelter was coming up. And somehow I missed the turn for the shelter. Now, I was already sopped. I was 2 hours in the rain at that point, but I was looking for a place to eat lunch. and that shelter was going to be it. I missed the turn. So, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder how I survive out here at all, to be honest with you. So, once I hit the next landmark, I realized it was further back, and I wasn't about to go back up the mountain and get to that shelter. So I said, well, you can have lunch when it stops raining. And it stopped about an hour later. So it stopped about an hour later, and I just kept on, hiking, which probably ended up being, in some ways, was good, because by the time I got here, I didn't have a lot of time to get set up anyway. So I would have been either traveling in the dark, or when I got here, I would have been trying to set up in the dark. But I came down at the end of the day. I came down a rock crevice. It's a half-mile long, and it's this steep. I kid you not. And of course, the rocks were still wet from the rain. It's called St. John's Ledge. And man, that was hard on my knees, I gotta tell you. So, extra ibuprofen last night. Legs are feeling it this morning, and that thing was hard, and it was not that safe either. So I felt pretty good when I got down to the bottom. So today we are going to go either 12 or 15 miles to a campsite, camp up, and then we'll have about 10 miles left to get to Salisbury, Connecticut, which is where the next resupply is going to be. So I got enough food and everything at the convenience store to last me through there, no problem. The selection's not the greatest, but hey, that's what life is like out here. And I think that's it. That's the report from yesterday. It was a mixed bag. And let's hope there's no rain today, because if there's not, maybe I can get some of these wet clothes dried out. See you, folks.